Hey and welcome, I'm Hammeh and the BlizzCon 2019 schedule is here and it looks as though there are some nice gaps there, just waiting for new Overwatch game, new Overwatch mode, whatever the new Overwatch news is going to be. News, and I bet it's going to be lore centric as well, to drop. So in this video we shall firstly talk a little bit about what we could expect this year for Overwatch in general, then have a look at the BlizzCon schedule and floor plan and see what they might tell us. Bit of news before we get stuck in, I will be at BlizzCon for the first time as a Blizzard gamer of 20 or so years. It's going to be a very big and interesting year in many ways for Blizzard, for Overwatch and more, and I cannot wait to share it with you on this channel. Throw a like, subscribe, I will be releasing a whole bunch of videos here from the con from 31st of October to 2nd and 3rd of November, so whatever Overwatch news, lore and similar are coming, I will be live on the ground to talk about it. Very excited. If you're going to be at BlizzCon, do comment in the comments, follow me on Twitter at HammehLore. I'll be running around like a madman, but it would be great if at all possible, if there is time, to say hello and say thank you for the support over the last 5 years of talking about Overwatch lore, interactions, voice lines and so much more, and you guys supporting my channel. So firstly, what could we expect for Overwatch? Well, I've covered it in some previous videos, but Overwatch watchers like myself and probably yourselves have been noticing for quite some time that the Overwatch team over years has been hiring, as I've covered for the last couple of years. They've been working on something. Announcements and trends, including no map or animated short this summer of 2019 just gone, have been called and speculated, along with events being in slightly more maintenance and regular mode. But in just over a week's time at BlizzCon 2019, we will know what all of this work behind the scenes has been going into, since the mention of a new Overwatch project in development. This heated up a little bit a few months ago due to a Kotaku article by Jason Schreier talking about a cancelled StarCraft first-person shooter project at Blizzard, with developers being moved onto something he dubbed at the time Overwatch 2. Now, I must stress, whatever this game is, that's what people have started calling it. We don't even know if it's a completely new game. It's unlikely to be a huge change to the existing Overwatch, creating a whole new competitive system and things like that, but we could be surprised. I think that we should think of it probably as a completely new way to play Overwatch, and that could be expressed in terms of a single player or a co-op mode. Left 4 Dead was mentioned in the Kotaku article as a slight comparison point. It could be an add-on, some kind of expansion, and alongside this there could be a bit of a revamp to the existing game, but I don't think it's going to be a huge replacement, a huge core change. You don't want to split a player base. There's this small thing called the Overwatch League. Blizzard doesn't want to be massively shaking all of that up right now, so I think Overwatch as it is may get some tweaks. I don't think it's going to get drastically replaced, if that makes sense, and this is going to be a different way to play. So I think the smart money. We've had no cinematic in August, September of this year. We haven't had the new map. Clearly the development time and resources has been going into the new project and whatever's going to be coming up. I think we're going to get a cinematic of some kind, whether it's for maybe a new hero for Overwatch as we know it right now, whether it's introducing, which could be more likely. We could get 2 cinematics, one for maybe a new hero and one introducing this new Overwatch gaming experience. All leaks, speculations, things flying around, they're all kind of speculations until proven one way or another, but we're going to find out in just over a week's time anyway. I'll do a little separate video on what I think that Overwatch really needs, both as a sort of brand and as a universe, as much as a game and anything else from BlizzCon this year. But let's have a look at the schedule and the floor plans that have just been announced. Now these are kept an eye on because generally they give us some idea in advance of what Blizzard wants to be talking about, what they're leaving space for, and how they're setting up their time and space, and what their priorities might be. And I think a lot of this is pointing towards an Overwatch big announcement as well as other stuff, as if we didn't know it was coming. I think this is kind of the icing on the cake. It is going to be a huge Blizzard year for many reasons, this BlizzCon. There's probably going to be new World of Warcraft expansion. For those of you who are fans of that game, I've certainly been a player of it since it launched on and off. Diablo 4, meant to be at last BlizzCon apparently, all of the Diablo Immortal stuff going on, rumoured to be coming this year ever since, and of course Overwatch that we have been waiting for. So firstly, if we have a little look at the floor plan, now there is an Overwatch demo area which could well be used for new content. Blizzard have actually been taking more space of the convention centre over in Anaheim over the last few years, but I want to draw your attention to this space underneath Hall D, the Mythic stage. Now if you have a look at previous year's floor plans, you can see that this was having various Diablo demo content. Now of course, if there is a Diablo 4 announcement this year, then that could be once again a Diablo demo space, but it could also be potentially, who knows, maybe for some new Overwatch content or something like that. So a little speculation there. So if we get into the schedule of panels and of events, and you can see all of this on BlizzCon.com by the way, and it should be in your local time zone. First things first, there's always the opening ceremony. That's always live on Twitch and the BlizzCon website, YouTube as well, I think. You can see that for free. All of the times you see here as I'm scrolling through UK times, minus 8 hours behind is local Pacific or LA time. It's an hour ahead of the times you see here for Central European time. And if you're any of the crazy Australians, Southeast Asians, Far Easterners who kindly watch this channel, you could be 7 to 9 hours after these times depending on where you are. So as I get excited for this is going to be part viewing guide for you and also part explaining why there's definitely going to be some kind of Overwatch announcement here. Now, the opening ceremony is always a good place to see the big headline announcement. There's generally an animated short shown as well for Overwatch, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be the time to see it, so you should absolutely tune into that. So straight after the opening ceremony, you can see that we have this chunk of coming soons, and there are indeed another couple of coming soons even on the Saturday as well, BlizzCon being over these 2 days. So maybe in the next week, perhaps closer to the con, but it could even be the same day or just after the opening ceremony. One of these is going to be nailed down to be an Overwatch coming soon. Now, this has always happened over the last few years, so whatever has been announced in the opening ceremony will be covered in more detail. Now, what's interesting is that not only with that, on Saturday there's an Overwatch update panel, which is noon, West Coast USA, 8 PM UK time. That's generally another panel over the years that has more in-depth follow-up on Overwatch. So we've got kind of 2 chunky Overwatch panels here, and then quite a big bunch of general Overwatch panels, which I'll talk about in a bit. So there's going to be, I think, quite a bit to talk about. Perhaps one of these panels is going to be Overwatch in general, talking about Overwatch, the game that we know and love now, and then the other one could be specifically dedicated to whatever new news, game mode, or whatever for Overwatch is going to be announced. And note that on the Saturday here there are still 2 more coming soon panels. Now, of course, they could be Diablo 4, the new World of Warcraft expansion, but there's still more space for more Overwatch related content here as well. Other cool things to look out for, be it my coverage or virtual ticket if you go for it. Blizzard animation panel on Friday, that's talking about Overwatch animated shorts. We generally see these panels when Overwatch has released an animated short, and then they talk, the cinematics team, about the creation of that short and the process and go through things. So that's a fairly, if we didn't expect it, that's a fairly good indicator an animated short for Overwatch is going. And for me, and I'm sure for you guys as well, lore hype. I cannot believe anything apart from the fact that whatever new Overwatch content, game mode or similar is going to be announced, it has to have a huge vein of lore and story running right through it. Blizzard have slowly been hiring writers. They've hired a couple of writers in the last couple of years. You don't hire more writers. I think there was even a writer intern position recently. You don't hire more writers if you're going to be doing less story. So I think that us lore fans have got a lot to look forward to from Overwatch this BlizzCon in particular. Finally, to finish up, there is the writers room, building the world of Blizzard. Sometimes there are Overwatch, either comic writers or writers who pop through that. The much loved Voices of Overwatch panel, that's going to finish off the Saturday night, so I'm going to be there. Obviously I can't record and share the whole thing with you, but I'm going to be there, and I can't wait to see some of the VAs, the talented voiceover artists, and we've been enjoying the work of for so many years now, both in Overwatch and secondarily here on my channel as well, with the old voice lines and interaction. So really looking forward to that panel. It's always a good fun one. For you artists, or if you appreciate art, there's an art studio workshop on Diva, artists drawing Diva, and then a longer artists at work panel showing people drawing. For you esports fans, there's Overwatch Watchpoint 2020 season preview, and then of course the whole Overwatch World Cup, which is always shown for free on Twitch as well. So that's from Thursday actually. And you can just check that all out. Of course, Go Team UK, I'm going to be supporting Britain. It's going to be a very interesting competition in that as well. And the Overwatch World Cup always brings out some very interesting games. So even if you don't watch the Overwatch League during the season, go and root for a country in the Overwatch World Cup, because there's always some funny stuff going on there. Okay, so the panels have been announced. The space has been set. The schedule is in place. Overwatch has got a new announcement coming. What's it going to be? Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll go into it in a separate video more in a bit. If you like this video, throw a like, subscribe for all of my BlizzCon 2019 and Overwatch coverage. It is great to be up and running with videos again. Thank you for your patience. Do check out all of my other Overwatch lore interactions and voice line videos that I've done over the last, well, 5 years since Overwatch was announced. Been covering lore, talking about the story that long. Cheers for tuning in. I've been Hammeh. Take it easy.